So I speak a lot about autonomy in this unfolding. I speak about distillation of everything that inspires you, everything that enlivens you, everything that has guided you in this path. And I also speak a lot about the uniqueness and the flowering of the uniqueness, and how, as we open to the true nature where we are one, we're not losing a sense of self. We're losing the identities, and we are discovering a sense of what the true self is. And as we discover the sense of the true self, we actually flower in our uniqueness in a way like we've never before had access to, because we're no longer gripped by fear. We're no longer looking externally for permission and validation. And that actually allows us to have access to a sense of intuitive knowing of who I am as the infinite unbounded, but also who am I here to be? How do the laws of nature here want to express? What are the laws of nature here to express as an emanation of what we might call the divine, pure, the untainted, the glorious? And so, far from actually disappearing into oblivion, we actually come alive in a way that is more potent than we can ever even dream of living in a life that is rooted in fear, separation and division, right? So we're in a really potent time in the lived experience, we could say, of being a human. And this potent time, we can all feel it, right? We can feel it in our unique lives, that we're being called out in a way. We're being challenged, we could even say, because as this shift in consciousness is happening, we're being invited to truly align with that shift in consciousness. And that shift in consciousness, is no nonsense, right? It's like, are you in or are you not? Right? And so it's constantly inviting us to step in. What we're stepping into is actually an autonomy. We're stepping into a deeper autonomy. We're stepping out of the flow of collective discordance and power imbalance. We're stepping out of fear, suffering, pain, and in a way, our nervous system being constantly dysregulated by a sense of needing to belong. When we need to belong to the collective, our nervous system is wired into the collective discordance and anxiety and stress that comes from the frequency of division, separation, limitation, the belief that there's something wrong with me or I'm not good enough. So we're being invited to discover this autonomy. We're being invited to discover where true power is. What do I truly belong to? So that we can untangle our nervous system from being constantly fed by collective anxiety, right? That we then imagine is mine, it's my anxiety, it's my stress. And most often it actually doesn't belong to us, even if it segues us into narratives and discordance and things that are familiar in our understanding and experience thus far in the human life. The flows of discordance in truth are impersonal, and we're not actually ever really supposed to, we could say, take ownership of them. So when I speak of, just be with the feeling field. Don't worry about the story. Don't worry about any kind of outcome. Don't worry about insight or trying to connect this to your ancestral lineage or culture or beliefs. Just be with the feeling field in such a pure way, because the chances are this doesn't actually belong to you. Because everybody has a way of being sensitive. We have different ways of being sensitive, but everybody has a way of being sensitive. Everyone has a way of feeling imbalance and discordance. And in a way, the greatest gift that we can give ourselves is to come to the autonomous knowing of where we are one, and not be in a fear of kind of disappearance or annihilation, right? But to actually realize what we're being invited into is that true autonomy, true sovereignty leads us to a unique flowering as an expression of the divine that actually brings our life into an alignment to really be what we are here to be. And there's nothing more potent. There's nothing more joyful. There's nothing more fulfilling and more nourishing, right? The one that feels like they are suffering, of course that one loves the idea of total disappearance, not having to deal with life, the world, the relational field. But I would actually say that the relational field is the final frontier of true realization and wholeness and revelation. That being able to be fully relational, autonomous, embodied as wholeness is something that grace is truly inviting us into, where nothing is left out, right? So with all of this that's coming forward, the uniqueness of our unfolding and the uniqueness of what is alive for us in our field and how we are present with this unfolding is very, very potent. It's not a generic unfolding, right? It's a unique adventure and exploration that we are in. And again, as I speak of often, being really intimate with the exploration. I feel that we are all at a point now where maybe years ago, it would fairly often arise that people would say, wow, this seems like a lot of work. Like I have to be aware all the time. I have to be kind of like watching myself. And it's like, yeah, because that's actually your true nature, is to be awake and aware and intimate with yourself. Not in a self-obsessed way, but in a way that's just naturally awake and aware and attuned multidimensionally. So like aware of how you're feeling, what's happening in the nervous system, whether you're feeling a draw towards something or pull away. This is absolutely natural intelligence. And, you know, earlier on in the adventure, it can feel like, man, that's a lot of work. But what a celebratory moment we could join in now, that it's natural, I would say, probably on a certain level for pretty much everyone. Even for sure, if there are moments where it feels like we're not really attentive and we could say, well, huge gaps of time disappear, or I'm not really sure where I've been. That's totally fine. That's not an error. That's the human nature. That is the adventure in process. And yet we are awake and aware. We are connected and attuned. We are sincere of heart, pure of heart. We are saying yes to this, right? we wouldn't be here still, right? We wouldn't be here still if the heart wasn't in alignment and resonating at a frequency of yes to evolution, to the evolution of human consciousness, right? To listening to the sankalpa of the heart, responding to the call to awaken, discover the truth, discover freedom, live as love, right? We're all wired for this, and we're all responding to this, and we're sharing this glorious adventure. So this is my introduction, because what it feels like is being invited today is to invite you to bring forward, where are you in this adventure? What would be useful and helpful for you in your unique inquiry? What are you pondering that you wish someone you could have a discussion about that with? What are you curious about that you maybe feel like, oh, I would like to ask Claire about that, right? What are you discovering? Because we would love to hear that too. Because as we listen to each other, we attune. And here's the thing that's really gloriously fantastic, is that yes, we are one, as one consciousness that is pure and unbounded and infinite. We are one with the glory of what God truly is. And we are here to discover that we are one as a field of silent presence, a field of being, and we are eternal, unbounded, timeless being. Yes, absolutely, we are here for this, the expansion out of limitation, the expansion out of ideas and beliefs. But we are also here to discover that we are one in the human adventure as well, because the human adventure is made of the same light, love, grace, and glory, the same intelligence. Life is the intelligence. So we are just as much one in the human adventure as we are, we could say, in the languaging of the infinite unbounded, because the human adventure in its true essence is an unbounded adventure. It's not an adventure just of fear and trepidation. It's not a constant facing what feels hard. It's like we're getting to the point where the adventure really starts, like the glorious adventure into the flowering, right? That it's like we're being prepared. We're opening to the ground of being. We're opening to divine nourishment. We're opening to be resourced from source. The ground is fertile, and from here we flower, right? So when we come together and we have a sense of what the heart sankalpa is, we're attuned to our own intuitive knowing. We're attuned to our autonomy. When we have a sense of the heart sankalpa, like what the heart knows, what I'm here for, what brings me alive, what do I have a sense this life is about for me? We're attuned to this frequency field of our unique laws of nature. And at the same time, we're also attuned to the sense of being the being that is beyond the narrative, beyond the particulars. And yet when we speak of the unique laws of nature, we're not speaking about particulars according to story and definition and identity. We're talking about laws of nature that are the flows of divine intelligence. And we're speaking about activating and enlivening our laws of nature so that we can truly be that unique expression of the divine, as long as we have breath keeping us animated, and as long as this body has to live out in the rest of this human life. Let's make the most of it, eh? let's discover what might be the most joyous and fulfilling continuation of this adventure in the experience of being human, while for sure knowing that when the human body dissolves into light, returns to the unmanifest, that we still exist as life itself, that we are eternal, right? And it's that knowing that removes the fear. But what also removes the fear is a deeper sense of knowing what this one is here for, curiously. An alignment with the uniqueness also deeply supports the fear of trying to find out how to belong, what my purpose is, trying to get validation and confirmation from the external, and trying to fit into something. It dissolves competition and comparison, and it allows us to really drop into a sense of being only aligned with the intuitive knowing. So, hopefully this paints a picture of this invitation to just noticing what is alive for you. What are you curious about? Where are you in this adventure? Do you feel like there's any sense of stuckness? Is there a sense of a plateau? Is there a curiosity about this kind of evolution of human consciousness? Because we are most definitely in a flow of evolution that I would say that we are most likely very aware of in our lived experience. Some people speak of it as a quickening or a speeding up or an amplification. There's lots of ways of speaking about this time. My invitation is not necessarily to feel that you need to cohere with any interpretations, but to really just be with how this evolution of human consciousness is dancing in you and as you, and is the experience of life. So whatever you feel inspired to bring is an inspiration for us all, because we join in the oneness of the field, we join in the autonomy, and we join in a celebration of the flowering of each of us